You know that feeling, that little rush you get when you cross something off a to-do list? Well, it turns out that simple satisfaction is one of the most powerful and most overlooked tools we have for making real change in our lives. So today, we're going to dive into the surprising psychology behind habit tracking, why it feels so good, why we usually quit, and how to make it so easy you barely even notice you're doing it.
I mean, let's just start right here, with a feeling we all know and love. That little hit of dopamine, that rush of, yes, I did it, when you check a box or cross something off. It just feels good, right? But what if I told you that tiny, satisfying moment is actually the secret key to unlocking massive personal growth?
Because you see, that feeling isn't just a small win. It's literally the engine of progress. The source material we're digging into today shows that the very act of tracking can become its own reward. It creates this powerful little feedback loop that just makes you want to keep going.
So what is actually going on in our brains here? Why does just seeing a bunch of X's on a calendar feel so incredibly motivating? Well, it turns out there's some real psychology at play, and it breaks down into 3 core reasons.
Okay, so check out how these 3 things work together. It's actually a brilliant little cycle. First, just seeing the tracker, your calendar, your app, is a visual reminder, a cue to actually do the thing. Then, once you get a few days in a row, you start building a chain. And we are wired to hate breaking chains. That's loss aversion kicking in. And finally, you get that satisfying feeling of recording your success, which reinforces the whole loop. It's this beautiful, self-perpetuating system. And honestly, this right here might be the most profound part of it all. Every time you track a workout, or a page you wrote, or a meditation session, you're not just logging data. You are creating immediate, concrete proof that you're becoming the kind of person you want to be. Each checkmark is like casting a vote for your future self.
Okay, so if tracking is so powerful and so great, let's get real. Why do so many of us give up after like 3 days? Why does something that's supposed to help us feel like just another chore on an already mile-long list?
Oh man, we've all been there, haven't we? You start with the best intentions. You buy the fancy new journal, you download the cool app, and then life happens. And the first thing to go? The tracking. So the big question is, why? Why does this keep happening? And here is the big aha moment from the source material. When you decide to track a new habit, you're not starting one new habit. You're actually starting 2. First, there's the habit you actually want to build, like going to the gym. But then there's the second, hidden habit, the habit of recording that you went to the gym. And that second habit can feel really tedious, and it's almost always the one that fails first.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that gap between our good intentions and what we actually do day to day. We know it would be useful, but the friction, the effort of actually doing the tracking, just gets in the way.
But here's the good news. There is a much, much better way. So let's shift into the solutions. The key here isn't about more willpower or trying harder. It's about being smarter. It's about reducing that friction and making the act of tracking almost invisible.
And the playbook here is beautifully simple. It breaks down into 3 strategies. We're going to automate what we can, limit our focus to what really matters, and then stack the tracking habit onto something we're already doing anyway. Let's break each of those down.
First up, automate. Seriously, you would be shocked at how much data is already being collected about your life without you lifting a finger. Your credit card statement is a perfect spending tracker. Your phone is already counting your steps. Your work calendar tracks your meetings. So instead of inventing a new system, just piggyback on the systems that already exist. Second, and this is a big one, be ruthless with your focus. The goal here is consistency, not trying to do everything at once. Look, it is so much more powerful to consistently track one single important habit than it is to sort of track 10 different things. Just pick the one that matters most to you right now and nail that.
And finally, this technique is an absolute game changer, habit stacking. The idea is incredibly simple. You just link the habit of tracking to the habit you just did. The end of the first behavior becomes the immediate automatic trigger for the next one, and you can see the formula here in action. It's not some vague plan like, oh, I'll track my workout later tonight. No, it is. After I finish my last set, I will record it in my journal. You see how that works? It connects the 2 habits, and it makes tracking an immediate, almost thoughtless part of the routine itself. So, you've made your tracking easy, you've made it automatic, things are going great. But let's be realistic for a second. Life is gonna get in the way. You'll get busy, something unexpected will come up, and eventually, you're gonna miss a day. So what happens then?
Is all that progress just gone? And this brings us to the final, and maybe the most crucial, takeaway. Perfection is a myth. Every single habit streak, no matter how epic, eventually ends. The goal isn't to be perfect, the goal is to be resilient. The real win isn't never falling off track, it's how fast you get back on.
And so that really leaves us with the most important question of all, doesn't it? Your tracker is great for showing you when you've fallen off. But what's your plan for the day after you miss? Because having a system for recovery, for getting right back to it, is ultimately way more important than having a system for a perfect streak. And that is a thought worth tracking.